Breaking now, hero SWAT officers in Parkland shooting fired. The investigation into how and why the Parkland, Florida school shooting got to the point where 17 innocent people were killed has brought out the absolute worst in people, especially the Broward County Sheriff's Department. There are more unanswered questions than facts, despite being now exactly 3 weeks into the investigation. We've heard more than enough about guns, a tactic that's clearly being used as a scapegoat to conceal certain details officials didn't want out. 2 heroic SWAT officers in Florida were warned about revealing what they witnessed but decided the truth needed to be revealed. It was their duty to the American people who they swore to protect and serve, but doing the honest and noble thing has come at a great price. These 2 heroes who saved countless lives while others waited outside the school for them to die have been suspended from the police force. Their careers and livelihood are now in jeopardy, while cowards remain on duty collecting a check. Since the February 14th shooting, we've heard about the stand-down orders to officers that were issued during the height of the attack, preventing officers from entering and rescuing innocent people who relied on them. It's only part of the scandalous cover-up, and while shooter Nicholas Cruz's motive in the attack seems apparent, what less obvious is why authorities intentionally failed these victims and are hiding a lot now. Only a few names have surfaced of those who defied orders and ran inside to rescue. However, nothing has been said about 2 specific heroes who defied orders and entered who have been shut out in the shadows since then, Detective Jeffrey Gilbert and Detective Carl Schlosser. And now we know why. Gilbert and Schlosser have been suspended from their SWAT position for having responded to the shooting at all. The officers from Miramar, Florida heard what was unfolding at the school and immediately took action to help, despite being part of a department that was not called in for backup. Now, a 3rd Miramar office also faces major recourse for another reason. Sun Sentinel reports why this disgusting action was taken against the heroes. The officers did not have permission to respond to the shooting at Parkland on February 14, when 17 people were killed. And that created an officer safety issue and left them unaccountable for their actions, according to their police department. But their union reacted differently. While it may have been a violation of policy to not notify their supervisors that they were going there, their intentions were brave and heroic, I think, Broward County PBA President Jeff Morano said Wednesday. The SWAT officers who responded were Detective Jeffrey Gilbert and Detective Carl Schlosser. One of them told supervisors he was in the Coral Springs area when the gunfire happened. It's not known where the other drove from, police spokeswoman Tanya Ruse said. They were both close by, the high school, Ruse said. It's a good thing these SWAT officers showed up to help since others in the area were told not to. It's those who issued the stand-down order and responders who didn't go in with or without the order and do the job they swore to do, who should be punished. Does it really matter that these highly trained officers, with incredible SWAT skills needed in those critical seconds, were from a different department? They saved lives that would have been lost without them there, and for that they deserve a raise, not a suspension. A 3rd Miramar SWAT officer dared to call attention to this as well as what he knows about the shooting and suffered the consequences for it. It's starting to look like other authorities have something to hide since immediate action is being taken against anyone who speaks the truth. Sun Sentinel explains. A 3rd SWAT member, Officer Kevin Gonzalez, was accused of being linked to several social media posts that put the city and police in a negative light, and was suspended for violating the department's social media policy and the code of conduct, Ruse said. She said she could not comment further on where he may have posted information about the mass shooting or what was written. All 3 were notified Fed. 22 of their indefinite removal from what their department called a privileged program and were ordered to surrender their SWAT-issued rifles, but they remain on active duty for their other assignments, Ruse said. What's interesting to note is that Miramar police had placed their SWAT team on standby that day in case Broward County called for backup, which ultimately, and perhaps purposely, never happened. They did not have the scene under control, especially since the shooter was on the loose for a long time after the attack. Clearly, they could have used the backup, and thankfully, despite their refusal to ask for it, a couple came anyway, even though it has now cost them their job.